Sorry, everyone. There we go. Now you can see the screen. So, the first point we're going to bring up here is there's a question last week of how can there be 15 Ottonus bindings as they generally come in pairs. And Lip spent about 15 minutes explaining this to me. Is from his investigation into the algorithm that generates decks. The way it does is it throws cards at a deck and then validates the deck as valid. And so the way it seems to work is if you have 2 copies or Ottonus bindings, if there's 2 copies of Ottonu, then you will have either 3 or 4 of the bindings, because occasionally the deck will generate a deck with 3, and when it goes through the check, it validates there's at least 2 of them. Therefore, 3 bindings can happen. Potentially, 2 bindings could happen, but we think there's other checks to stop that occurring. Apparently, this also happens with routine jobs as well. Were you aware of that for routine jobs, Brett?
Yeah, you'll always have 2 routine jobs, but sometimes you can get 3, 4, 5. Same with Maw Wolves or Plague Rats. You've got a minimum you can get, and you've got a maximum you can get.
Yes, but it's like, yeah. So that's where it came from. So normally it always targets 2, but an odd number, an even number, but occasionally it can end up with an odd number, is what the explanation to me was.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Right, so moving on to this week. So this is round 2. Now, I've not read through these yet. Brett has, I believe.
No, I only found out about them yesterday, and I was still editing.
Fair enough. And the life of a video editor never ends. So the average SAS has gone up by 3.3% to 60.9. Now this is interesting because we have a max SAS of 62, yet it's only 60.9 as the average. It means there's a lot of people who are still playing the low SAS decks in the first round. There are also significantly more Amber Pips, or 5.4% more Amber Pips. So we're now averaging, most decks are averaging 11 and a bit Amber Pips. Apart from that, from what we've seen here, we've seen efficiency go up, which doesn't surprise me because we're getting more powerful decks generally have a higher efficiency. And though we say it's gone up 28%, it's gone up less than 1. And anti-synergy has gone up or changed by less than 1 as well. So I don't think we can say anything's changed by a significant margin in terms of the actual numbers changes. And 65 of the 270 players kept the same deck from round 1 to round 2, which I found very interesting because I thought it was only more like 30. So thank you to everyone who resubmitted the decks so that I didn't have to go and manually do that addition. It's greatly appreciated. So moving on, I've just realised. Crap.
This is the most interesting I found.
Go for it, man.
Is the fact that every single set dropped apart from Mass Mutation, which has increased by over a third. KOTE had the biggest drop at 19.1%. Worlds Collide is the least played set, and AOA at 29.2% is the most played set, which it still had a drop in between round 1 and round 2, but Mass Mutation had a huge increase. Look at that blue to red on Mass Mutation. That is a huge jump, and you saw Call the Archons have a massive jump down as well. I still find it really interesting that Worlds Collide is quite low down, and we knew going into this that AOA was going to be probably one of the most high played sets. Well, we didn't know, we theorized, but this one for me is just the jump in Mass Mutation decks. A lot of people looking at it. I was going to play a Mass Mutation deck in round 2. I just couldn't be bothered to find the enhancements, because remember, under the new rules, if you play Mass Mutation, your enhancements need to be on decks of Keyforge.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find the deck, so I went back into Call the Archon.
So I learned that I don't actually have a Mass Mutation deck that's less than 66.
Well, get you.
But also to be clear, I don't have a Mass Mutation that's higher than 74. So all my 60 decks of Mass Mutation are between 66 and 74. Which, you just sort of look at this going, what's the point?
How many decks is that?
60 odd.
That's not a bad average, really.
Well, yeah, yes and no, because some higher ones it would be better. So moving on, the houses in round 2. So Broken and Mars are falling hard. No one is ever surprised by the fact that this Broken Up is the Broken and Mars because it hasn't been present for a few sets. So we are expecting to see that that less common.
Oh yeah, with the rise of mass mutation and the fall of KOTE, it kind of makes sense that Brobnar and Mars are falling because AOA didn't have that much of a change, and not too many people are going to be bringing Brobnar Worlds Collide. So if KOTE are going down, those are the two main houses that don't cross over.
But it's good to see Star Alliance coming up now, and we did look last week saying we were surprised that Star Alliance was so low. And then we just decided either you have a good Star Alliance deck or you have a terrible Star Alliance deck. There's not really an in-between, maybe. And unsurprisingly, here we have seen Star Alliance taking a big chunk bit, 27% more decks, but it's still less than 50 of the 270 decks that are registered. So...
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see as we go up that the houses you kind of see more in the high-rated SAS decks are starting to increase as well. So... you're seeing Dis on the rise, you're seeing Logos on the rise, you're seeing Shadows on the rise, but then you're seeing Brobnar on the decline, Mars on the decline, Sanctum on a slight rise, and
near enough staying the same.
The decline is a bit weird, but we'll get.
Well, I'd say Untamed and Sanctum are near enough staying the same. I don't think.
But again, this is probably more to do with the fact we're losing KOTE and. Untamed Mass Mutation is really strong, but Untamed AOA and Untamed Worlds Collide, not that great if you forget about cards like Heart of the Forest.
Yep. Moving forward. So the most common cards in round 2, and this is very interesting for you. Burn Up Venom and Fogbank being the most two common uncommons. I mean, would you have guessed that? No. If you'd have asked me what the top 10 commons and uncommons were, I would not have said Bone Out Venom. Flat Zero Special Delivery I probably would have said, but...
Yeah. Pandemonium I would have said, Blood Money would have probably been on my short list, but yeah.
Hidden Stash probably there as well. But if we look at the rares, that's not really changed much from the previous one. So Plague Racks are still there at the top. There's none of my Plague Racks there this time.
So one more Heart of the Forest than there was last week.
But it's still that's 10 copies in 9 decks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 10 copies over 9 decks.
Plague Racks are still at first place, but there's a lot more stings. We're up to 18 stings.
We've lost 28 Niffle Apes?
Something like that. But also there's 18 Niffle Cogs.
18? I'm losing my mind. 18, sorry. We've lost 18 Niffle Apes. That makes me sad.
Yeah, but we've got 18 Niffle Kongs.
True. and they come with their entourage.
So it's always interesting. So just to be clear, when we say 18 Niffle Cons here, we actually mean 9 Niffle Cons, but it's 2 cards. So it's listed here as 18 because of the taking it has.
18 stings, is that... I believe that's higher than last week.
What's that, sorry? 18 stings, yeah, it went up from 15 to 18, I believe. Regarding the common cards, we still have the same top few apparently. As we said, Niffle 8 79 instead of 97, and Bad Kenny's lost 11 from 72 to 61. So the commons aren't changing that much. The uncommons have changed considerably, and the rares have changed not an unreasonable amount.
But so, you got with that massive drop in KOTE, you can imagine that a lot of the KOTE exclusively uncommons went down, and with mass mutation going up, their uncommons are going to come up. But Red Planet Raygun really is, with having 19, must mean that it's pretty much in every Mars deck.
Must be, yeah. So combos in round 2. There's even more AOA content. There's still 9 Hearts of the Forest, 2 Genkars. So we've lost from 4 to 2 Genkars. We've increased to 2 Briggs, and we've gone from 4 to 7 Gangonauts. So it's interesting to see how much this has changed. I mean, but also Dark Amber Vaults, we've only got 1 extra Dark Amber Vault. We did expect to see more. Now we know KIP ran 1 of the Dark Amber Vaults, if not 2 of them. Tribute and Exile, I expect to see that increase over the next few weeks. Bone Nothing and Safe House, again, increased by 2, which is not too much surprise. And Lash with TMTP, again, from 2 to 1.
I did manage to speak to a couple of Brig players, and they were basically saying that at this level, you've not got the real efficiency and archiving you want in a Brig deck. So it's just a case of whether you get it or not at the right times. But I definitely expect to see Dark Amber Vault and like Safe House combos increase as we go.
Yeah. So, gonna jump onto the next one. So we're on to the quiz. So,
Yes.
now what I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to turn off this square and go back to our normal view for the quiz, and let Brett control the quiz completely from the power that he has with the quiz kit. So, let's take this off.
Remember, viewers, to go into the quiz kit icon and manage access so we can see who's actually winning. Let's start the quiz. So, how many Amber Pips are in the deck with the most? 24, 16, 20, or 28? So, what number of Amber Pips in the 62 SAS round had the most Amber Pips? 24, 16, 20, or 28?
Well, I'm going to join in as well because I haven't actually seen the answers. And remember, you can get your free flexes to put through as we go through, showing off how well or how badly you're doing.
And we've even changed the emote to flex because of how much fun we had doing that during the quiz.
Oh, yes, we did.
So let's reveal the answer. We had 3 people coming at 20, 1 person coming at 28, 2 people coming at 24, and 24 was the correct answer.
I'm a positive score. Who'd have thought that was possible?
That's
So,
yelling. So next question. How much efficiency is in the deck with the most? So what's the highest efficiency number on the... Which deck has the highest efficiency number? Or what is the highest efficient number on the deck? These are really hard to whereas I can understand each one. 8.73, 11.73, 17.73, or 14.73. I'm very surprised to actually see this kind of range, really. Especially at 17.73. 1 person went for 11.73, 3 people went for 17.73, and 3 people went for 14.73. So a 17.73 efficiency deck, a 62 SAS, must be lacking something.
interesting to see. Oh, we have a key for
what was the highest arc in the deck with the most? This is limited to around 62, but what's the highest arc score? So although the SAS was limited to 62, your arc could go higher depending on your anti-synergy.
Or it could be lower if everyone's synergy is really good, which would be interesting
Exactly.
to see.
So, but they were looking at the maximum. What's the maximum arc? So 59, 62, 65, or 68?
Come on, give me a positive score overall. Give me a positive score overall.
And the answer here was 65. 1 person went for 59, 3 people went for 62, which wouldn't make sense. 1 person went for 68, but 2 people got the correct answer at 65. Let's have a look at the scores halfway through.
Do we have to?
Flaming Hobo rocking with the maximum score.
Wow.
Orion coming in with the second positive score. These are the question totals, but the actual totals. KFPL coming in with the highest score of 21,000. Flaming Hobo right on the heels at 18,000. Orion just under 0. Sea Minion with minus 23,000. And Ultimo the Meta Fox coming having the wooden spoon at this moment in time with minus 42,000.
I have got more questions right today than any other day we've done this, which is 1, where I haven't already known the answers. So I'm happy with that.
4.
So that'd be 6 questions in total.
How much expected amber is in the deck that has the highest expected amber? 9.21, 7.21, 5.21, or 3.21. So what is the number of expected amber in the deck with the highest expected amber? Oh, in the least. How much expected amber is the one with the least expected amber? We did the most last time.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be around like 1 or 0, but I don't think you can find a deck that has 0 expected amber.
Well, the question is, what's the point of the deck if you're...
Reversal. We had 4 people guess it correctly at 7.21, and we had 2 people get it incorrect at 5.21.
Ultimate Fox, if coming last is meta, I am the meta. I challenge you to that one, sir.
How much amber control is in the deck that has the least amount of amber control? So, in a deck with the lowest amber control in round 2, which deck had the lowest amber control? Minus 0.75, 3.75, 1.75, or 5.75? Good job. Have a flex. Boom, boom, boom.
So just so Brett's aware, I have created a button on my Stream Deck that just says the word awesome to the chat.
You and your Stream Deck.
Hey, it's the little things in life.
So let's reveal the answer. 4 people went for 1.75, 2 people went for 3.75, and 2 people went for the correct answer of minus 0.75. So there was a deck that had negative amber control. I imagine that deck had some fuzzy grins or some fertility chance.
I want to see the deck.
And the last question is, how high is the how high is the SAS of the deck that has the lowest SAS? So what is the lowest SAS deck in round 2? 44, 53, 50, or 47?
I suppose I should answer this one. I actually know the answer to this one, I think.
This is what's skewing the average.
Hey man, I'm coming last, so I don't think that's skewing the average that much.
No, I meant in the event, the average SAS. Ooh, look at that score, Seaman. What happened? You were doing so well.
I got one right and then every other one wrong.
5 people went for 53, 1 person went for 44, 1 person went for 50. The correct answer is 47, and I'm going to have to go and look up if that deck won or not.
I'm really curious. Do you know whose team that was?
We're going to have to go and look that up, and we're going to have to check if it won its game or not. That's our goal for the week, and we'll come back next week.
That's a surprisingly hard thing to find out, but I could do it with like an hour, because we don't store the SADs anywhere.
In the final results, unfortunately, KFPL were pipped at the final few questions by the Flint Hobo coming in at just under 10 grand. And Ultima Fox is not last. Coming in with a wooden spoon is C Minion at minus 71,000.
Hey, I'm just happy I got one of the questions right.
And whoever contestant 13 is, congratulations on coming in third. Did you want the throne of the wooden spoon? Did you want the wooden throne?
It's very uncomfortable, I'll be honest. Right. Well, thanks everyone for the quiz. Thank you for LipTalks for putting this all together. Thank you for Nathan and Dexter Keyforge. And thanks to everyone here for playing, because without you guys, we couldn't do these fun little things. And we do enjoy the feedback, and we do enjoy the few of you playing along. And it's always great to see.
Hey, Jupiter, that would be... I mean, you see, who has got the lowest SAS in the KFPL? Put your own quizzes together, man. It's a quiz kit is a beautiful little overlay that you can put in. And it just makes it a lot of fun to actually go over this kind of information.
Sorry. Right, so we're coming on to the video stream now. So yes. We're going to go through our featured game, if I press the right button. And this week...
interested though, there is a 4th game that was recorded, but due to a TCO disconnect, the game had to be replayed. That is now up on YouTube. It doesn't have any commentary, but I felt like it needed to be up there because it really shows how close these games were.